Before you watch this, just a heads up, this video may be sad or disappointing to many of you. It's a lot of progress that really just leads back to square one. And if any of you have managed to become a fan of this car after the 2 videos it's been shown in, this might seem indecisive or uncommitted on my part, but I promise I'm doing this for a reason. In this episode, I sell the 350Z. But before I do that, the Z receives a few modifications and goes to a track day, and all that stuff makes for pretty good content. But if the sale of this car ruins the enjoyment of that for you, at least watch from 1442 on, that stuff's pretty good. So when we last saw the Z, I had just purchased it bone stock from the original owner in Pennsylvania. I started taking it to track days, put a set of Fortunato 510 coilovers on it, and took it to more track days. It was extremely fun to drive, peppy enough to get out of its own way, but not so quick as to overwhelm me. Very fun on the limit. My intention with this car at this point is to track the car as much as possible to build driver skill and car control. It's naturally aspirated and stock, which is perfect for turning tons and tons of trouble-free laps. Unfortunately, trouble-free laps aren't exactly what I got. 17 years of Pennsylvania roads led to the stock muffler shearing off from the rest of the exhaust system, so my buddy Andrew welded up a cheap stopgap solution while I waited for the replacement to ship, a lightweight titanium Tomei Extreme exhaust. Cue the trumpet sounds. So if there's any one stereotype that sort of permeates the 350Z's reputation on the internet, it is that they sound like trumpets or some kind of brass section. And usually they're really, really obnoxiously loud. So in order to break that stereotype, I've gone and bought Tomei exhaust, full titanium catback Tomei exhaust, and it should be extremely loud. Now, there are reasons why I did this. First of all, this exhaust is ridiculously light. Seriously, it is stupid light. It weighs probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 pounds total. That's because it's full titanium, titanium being a very, very light metal. And they're really devoted to all the weight savings here. Even the hangers, like this one right here, are hollow on the inside. It's just a titanium shell. The reason that I decided to go with an aftermarket exhaust is not because I love the sound of the VQ engine. It's fine. And it's not because I love super loud exhausts. I don't really. I wanted to get the weight savings, and I kind of had to change exhausts because my stock exhaust sheared in half when we were at the track, and that exhaust leak was starting to melt my rear bumper. I really tried to tough it out and not go to something aftermarket, but I figured it's going to be a car that I use at the track a lot, and if I'm going to modify it, I might as well just get what I want. And I love Tomei as a brand, and I love weight savings, so we'll see if it's tolerable. We'll see if it's too loud. But there are a couple ways that they've restricted the noise. It does have a big resonator back here, and obviously it has this huge muffler. And then in the muffler, you're actually able to install a silencer, which obviously restricts the airflow, but it also restricts the sound. So whenever I'm driving on the street, that's probably the play I'm gonna make. Next, I started looking for more grip at the track, and for that I had Nankang. Their 100 treadwear AR1 has replaced the Advan 808R as my #1 sexiest tire in production. Look at this thing. It's sensual. The tires, 275 squared, needed an appropriate wheel to go on. And once again, Craigslist came in clutch for me. I found a used set of 9.5-inch Advan GTs for a good deal, and with that, I had a wheel and tire setup so jaw-dropping, I enlisted my friend Cassie to help with a little engagement shoot. Now the car was set with suspension, a lightweight exhaust, phenomenally sticky tires and forged wheels, but there was still one glaring problem area. From the start, I'd hoped to show that a Z can slow down without big brakes. All that's necessary is good pads and fluid. And that's true. For a little while. But after a few laps, both I and my buddy Kobe were noticing that stopping power would consistently fade away with heat. Not to mention, I was running through pads like crazy. Bigger brakes were inevitable if I wanted to keep tracking the car. Luckily, my buddy Chris Miller, who worked at PowerStop at the time, was able to send over some prototypes of PowerStop's big brake option for the 350Z. These brakes are essentially Akebono 370Z big brakes, which came on the Sport and Nismo trim levels of the 350Z successor. Compared to the single piston calipers of my 350Z, these calipers are 4-piston front and 2-piston rear and are paired with a 14-inch rotor, making for much more thermal capacity before things start to boil or fade. Not much a fan of the red, I enlisted my buddy Andrew Hicks again to help powder coat the brakes to a color more my style. Andrew did a superb job coating the brakes in a nice aqua blue. Such a good job, in fact, that it required another photo shoot with Cassie to commemorate the birth of my newborn calipers. Finally, it was time to install. So I made a little mistake, and some of you might have noticed. The rotors that I thought that I was supposed to run, these guys, are actually too small. These are the rotors that go on the standard non-big brake, non-sport brake versions of the 370Z, which means I'm kind of in trouble because I need to go and get other brakes, but it's late at night and most shops are closed, and I have a track day in 2 days with a shoot tomorrow. I have no time to go pick something up. The good news is I work in the same shop as an Evo 10. So these are some rotors off of an Evo 10 that my buddy Mark just happened to have lying around his shop. These are obviously used, but because of the tight time constraints that I'm on, I am going to use these just to make sure that everything's gonna fit up and so that the car can drive and test drive and stuff like that. And then once stores are open, I will go and get these slightly larger 370Z Nismo or sport package rotors that I need. In my introduction video for the 350Z, I made a lot of internet people angry when I compared the 350Z to a Miata or GT86 and said that it was not a, quote, fast car. That's because I don't consider a car that makes 230 horsepower at the wheels and weighs 3,200 pounds to be fast, not in the world of modern cars. However, with the combination of 275 with 100 treadwear Nankings and the immense stopping power of the PowerStop Akebonos, the Z became a completely different car to drive. The lack of horsepower combined with the massive grip almost became kind of a feature. Wide open became the default throttle position for most of VIR, without enough horsepower to overpower the grip of the tires. When it came time to brake, the fresh calipers and PowerStop track day pads hold the car down over and over and over. My goal of making the Z an effortless lapping car, a true seat time Z, was realized. The car was absolutely perfect for it. But then something came up, a fairly hefty expense that meant that the Z and all my plans for it were gonna have to go. I took the Z to get detailed at Automotive Aesthetic, which I should have done when I first bought it, but if you're planning on selling a car, getting it restored by these guys first is a really good idea. The car came out absolutely astonishing. I'd already taken off the Advan GTs, which I'm gonna keep. I packed up the Advan TCL4 wheels I'd bought and sold them. They never even went on the car. I took some pictures, posted the Z up for sale, and just like that, in about a week, it was gone. I told you this video was sad and disappointing. I'm disappointed that I didn't get to do all the things I wanted to the Z, keep driving it to develop more car control, take it sub 10 at VIR, put ridiculous JDM body kits on it and pretend I'm a Japanese time attacker. I'm sad that, for the second time, I no longer have a 350Z, a car that I loved when I was 19 and still love today. But I wouldn't have sold a car that I love as much as the Z without a good reason. And next weekend, that good reason gets its very own build series. So, stay tuned.